5 stories whispered in the walls. Haunted architecture of history. We often see great structures like Bran Castle, the Tower of London, or the Winchester Mansion as symbols of magnificent architecture. But few know that behind those cold walls, hidden stories of horror, trapped souls, and curses that cannot be broken lie. These buildings are not only made of stone, but also of blood, tears, and the screams of restless spirits. Let's dive into these dark mysteries. 1. Bran Castle, the cursed fortress. Deep in the Carpathian Mountains, there stands a castle, old as time, cold as death. Bran Castle, the gateway between history and hell. Part 1. A haunted legend. For centuries, Bran Castle has been known as the home of Dracula. Perched on jagged cliffs, shrouded in mist, this medieval fortress isn't just a tourist site. It's a graveyard, with walls. A place where blood soaked into stone and stayed. Locals believe the castle's halls are haunted by the spirits of those who suffered unspeakable deaths. Prisoners thrown into oubliettes. Servants tortured for secrets. And, of course, Vlad the Impaler, the real Dracula who ruled with cruelty that chills the soul. He didn't just kill his enemies. He displayed them, impaled on spikes, left for days, writhing, screaming, rotting in the wind. The castle echoed with their final breaths. And it never forgot. Part 2. Whispers from the walls. To this day, villagers from the nearby town refuse to go near Bran after dark. They say when the storms roll in, you can hear it. Footsteps in empty halls, chains dragging on stone floors, doors slamming when no one is there. And worst of all, a woman's scream, piercing, endless, coming from beneath the dungeons. A priest once tried to bless the castle. His candle blew out the moment he stepped through the gate. He left in silence and never spoke again. Part 3. The Modern Encounters. In 2007, a team of filmmakers stayed overnight to shoot a documentary. They set up cameras, lights, microphones. By morning, 2 members were missing. One was found in the castle chapel, eyes wide open, whispering a name over and over. Elena, Elena. The other was never found. Only her shoes, left at the entrance of a sealed dungeon. Every few years, someone tries to debunk the legend. But they all come back changed. Pale, paranoid, or not at all. Ending. The invitation to fear. So now let me ask you, would you dare walk the stone corridors of Bran Castle, knowing what waits in the shadows? Because Bran is not just a castle. It's a cage of spirits, soaked in blood and sorrow. The dead don't rest here. They whisper, they watch, they wait. And once you step inside, you're never truly alone again. 2. Tower of London, the Gatekeeper of Death. Beneath the grandeur of England's most iconic fortress lies a chilling truth. The Tower of London isn't just a monument, it's a mausoleum. Part 1. A fortress built on blood. Built in the 11th century by William the Conqueror, the Tower of London was never just a castle. It was a prison, a place of torment, and a theater of death. Behind its thick stone walls, the most powerful figures in English history met their end. Kings, queens, traitors. The air here still hums with the echoes of screams, like a song stuck in the cracks of time. Part 2. The Queen Who Never Left. But no story is more tragic than Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. Once crowned in splendor, she was accused of betrayal and dragged to the scaffold in 1536. As the axe fell, they say the sky turned gray, and silence drowned the crowd. But Anne, she never truly left. For centuries, guards and visitors have reported seeing a woman in white wandering the halls without a head. Sometimes, she stands at the spot where she died, holding her head in her arms, staring waiting. One yeoman guard quit after encountering her in the chapel. "She passed through me," he whispered. "I felt her sorrow in my bones." Part 3. The Prison of Souls. Anne is not alone. The tower was home to hundreds of executions. Torture chambers, dungeons so cold that prisoners screamed not from pain, but from madness. Some nights, visitors say they hear chains dragging across the stone, whispered prayers from unseen lips, and worst of all, the screams. One tourist fainted near the bloody tower after seeing what she described as a shadow hanging from the rafters. There were no ropes, no lights, just the sound of someone choking in the dark. Ending, the gate remains open. The Tower of London is guarded by more than history. It is watched by those who never found peace. Spirits with unfinished tales, eyes behind the walls, a gatekeeper of death that never truly closes. So if you ever walk its ancient corridors, be careful where you look and listen closely, because in the Tower of London, the dead are not silent. 3. Winchester Mystery House, the mansion that never ends. Some houses are homes, others are traps for the dead. But this one was built to keep the spirits busy. Part 1. The Woman Who Couldn't Sleep. In the heart of San Jose, California, stands a mansion unlike any other. 160 rooms, 10,000 windows, staircases that lead to ceilings, doors that open to walls. It makes no architectural sense because it was never meant to. The story begins with Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Wirt Winchester, heir to the legendary Winchester rifle fortune. After the death of her husband and infant daughter, Sarah was shattered. But grief wasn't her only visitor. A psychic once told her, "You are haunted, Mrs. Winchester, by the spirits of those killed by your family's weapon. The only way to appease them? Build endlessly. Never stop." And so she did. Part 2. The Mansion of Madness. Construction began in the late 1800s and didn't stop for 38 years. Day and night. Hammers, saws, footsteps. Sarah designed the house herself, guided not by blueprints, but by seances. She would retreat to a secret seance room and speak to the spirits, asking, "What shall I build next?" The result? Hallways that loop endlessly. A staircase with 44 steps that rises only 9 feet. Doors that open to thin air, leading to a deadly fall. It wasn't a home. It was a maze for the dead. Part 3. Voices in the walls. They say the house is alive, that it breathes sorrow. Workers report cold spots, disembodied whispers, and ghostly footsteps echoing behind them. One tourist claimed she saw a shadowy figure glide across the upper balcony, only to vanish into a wall. Another heard crying from inside a sealed room, a room that hadn't been touched in over 100 years. Some believe Sarah was mad. Others believe she was trying to protect the living from the dead. Either way, the house remembers everything. Ending. The construction never ends. Sarah Winchester died in 1922. But the house? It's still unfinished. Forever unfinished. Some say the spirits are still trapped inside, still waiting for the next hammer strike, still pacing the halls, still whispering, "Build, keep building." So if you ever find yourself in the Winchester Mystery House, don't trust the doors, don't trust the stairs, and above all, don't answer the whispers. 4. Palace of Versailles, haunting of lost dynasties. The glorious mask. They say the Palace of Versailles is the epitome of grandeur. Gold-lined halls, immaculate gardens, and chandeliers that reflect centuries of power. But behind that splendor lies something else, something the tourists don't see. Whispers in the night, footsteps with no origin. A place not just built on luxury but on betrayal, blood, and regret. The history beneath the gold. Versailles was born under King Louis XIV, the Sunday King, who turned a humble hunting lodge into a monument of absolute power. Here, nobles danced while conspiracies brewed in candlelit corners. Servants went missing. Chambermaids poisoned their rivals. And behind every smile in the Hall of Mirrors was fear of falling from royal favor. Because in Versailles, a single mistake could cost your life and your soul. The ghosts of the guillotine. After the revolution, the palace fell into silence. The laughter died, but something else remained. Visitors and night guards have reported seeing her, a pale woman in an 18th century gown, hair powdered white, silently walking the gardens at dusk. Marie Antoinette. Some say she wanders, lost in time, reliving the final days before her beheading. Others hear her sobs echoing in the Queen's chambers. But she's not the only one. Many claim to have heard footsteps in locked halls, doors slamming, a cold breath down their neck. And when they turn, there's no one there. Only the scent of old perfume and the rustle of silk disappearing down the hallway. The cursed halls. In 1901, 2 English women claimed they were transported back in time while walking the Versailles Gardens. They saw people in period dress, heard music that no one else heard. They even described Marie Antoinette sketching by the fountain. Historians brushed it off, but their account matched details no tourist would know. Was it a time slip or a trap laid by the spirits of the palace? Other guests have fainted suddenly in the Hall of Mirrors. Some say they felt hands press on their shoulders, invisible hands that whispered in French, "Ne partez pas." Don't leave. You are not alone. Versailles may be polished, but its ghosts are patient. They linger in silence, watching, waiting. Each step on the marble floors may echo more than your own. Each room holds memories that never faded. Because while the kings are gone, their secrets and their souls never left. So next time you walk its gilded halls, ask yourself, who's really watching you from the mirrors? 5. St. Augustine's Church. Words from the Dark Ages. Deep in the heart of Florida stands St. Augustine Church, one of the oldest buildings in America, but also one of the most haunted. Built in the 16th century by Spanish soldiers, this church was meant to be a place of worship and refuge. Yet, through centuries of bloodshed and war, its walls have witnessed horrors no one dares to speak about. History, shadows from the past. During brutal battles fought just outside its heavy stone doors, countless soldiers and innocent civilians lost their lives. Many were buried without ceremony, their souls trapped in agony, unable to find peace. Among these restless spirits, one tale stands above all others, the story of a woman whose life was brutally taken during a massacre near the church. Curses and haunting. Locals whisper that on the darkest nights, when the church's candles flicker and the air grows thick with silence, a pale figure appears. A woman in tattered clothes, wandering the ancient stone corridors. Her footsteps echo softly, yet chillingly, as if searching for something lost forever. Some say they hear her sobs, low and mournful, the sound of a soul trapped between worlds. Others have felt a sudden cold breeze, as if icy fingers brush their necks in the dead of night. Warnings and unsolved mysteries. Many who have dared to stay overnight in St. Augustine Church tell stories of strange whispers, unexplained shadows, and overwhelming dread. They say the woman's spirit is bound by a curse, doomed to relive her final moments over and over. To this day, the church stands not only as a place of faith, but as a haunting reminder of history's darkest secrets. So, if you ever find yourself near St. Augustine Church after nightfall, beware the shadows and listen closely, because some voices never truly rest. As the final echoes of these haunted walls fade into the silence, we are left with the chilling truth: these timeless structures, steeped in history, hold more than just bricks and mortar. They carry with them the weight of countless lives, their anguish and sorrow etched into the very fabric of their existence. The curses that bind these places together, the souls forever trapped within, are a haunting reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved. But as you walk away from these shadowed corridors, ask yourself, what stories still linger in the dark corners of history, waiting to be discovered? Until next time, keep listening, for the whispers in the walls never truly end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.